Good evening, feeble-minded Earthlings. My name is Imperial Starbeast, and if you're receiving this transmission, it's because I've taken over your mind, and we are now interacting as one. Today I'd like to review one of my all-time favorite movies, Alien. The science fiction horror film follows the crew of the Nostromo, a commercial mining ship. Upon detecting a transmission from a nearby moon, the crew are awakened by the ship's computer and forced to investigate. Despite some protest, the 7-member crew proceed to land on the moon. After sustaining damage while entering the atmosphere, the engineers stay on board to complete repairs while the other half of the crew head out to investigate. The ground crew discover the distress signal originating from a downed alien craft. Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, deciphers part of the transmission, determining it as a warning, but cannot relay the information to those back on board the Nostromo. Meanwhile, Kane, played by John Hurt, discovers a chamber containing hundreds of large egg-like objects. The events that follow spiral into chaos as the crew encounters the aggressive and violent alien. The fight to stay alive is paramount, as crew members are hunted down and killed one by one. Following the massive success of Star Wars, 20th Century Fox greenlit the only science fiction screenplay they had ready for production, and thus Alien was born. Directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon, Alien stars Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, and John Hurt. When Alien premiered in 1979, it was met with mixed reviews, but went on to become a box office success, winning the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, 3 Saturn Awards for Best Science Fiction Film, Best Direction, and Best Supporting Actress for Cartwright. It also won a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. Claustrophobic and bleak, the film successfully harnesses a slow-building tension. Accompanied by its romantic and haunting score, the scenes are beautifully shot, utilizing its lighting well. The movie does a wonderful job building believable characters and environments. Everything has a lived-in feel, with its sets and locations being one of dirt and grime and not one that's overly sterile and clean. The leaky pipes and dark corridors allow for the biomechanical alien to seamlessly disappear into the darkness, leaving the anxious audience never knowing when it will reappear. The events that lead up to the movie's climax will raise your heart rate and leave you gripping your seat. The 7-member crew are coming off a long mining mission prior to the opening of the film. The only real joyful moments in the movie are both centered around the dining table with the crew sharing a meal. Their smiles and laughter convey their close relationships. This group dynamic plays out as a kindred group of truck drivers, giving the sense that this is playing out somewhere in the depths of space. Conflict arrives when the crew encounters a nest of eggs inside an alien ship. An organism from inside an egg leaps out and attaches itself to one of the crew, causing him to fall into a coma. Once the alien is on board their ship, the threat unfolds. As the cast of characters react to this threat, the audience is left wondering what they would do in the situation. Ripley becomes the movie's protagonist when the ship's captain Dallas is unable to return to his post. As character storylines unfold, conflict arises between the crew when suspicion of sabotage starts to grow within the company. When O'Bannon introduced Scott to the artwork of H.R. Giger, both of them felt his paintings represented the film's antagonist. 20th Century Fox initially believed Giger's work was too ghastly for audiences. According to Gordon Carroll, the first second that Ridley saw Giger's work, he knew the biggest design problem had been solved. Scott recruited Giger to work on all aspects of the alien's form, from the egg to the adult. His artwork inspired the movie's environments from the planetoid to the derelict spaceship. Traditional in-camera effects use scale models, matte paintings, and miniatures that still hold up to date, making the grimy feel of the set more epic in size and believability. The spaceships were shot using models and miniatures. The team at Breyer Studios, led by visual effects supervisor Brian Johnson, made slow-moving passes with the camera over the model, giving them the appearance of motion. Only one shot was filmed using blue screen compositioning, that of the shuttle racing past the Nostromo. The other shots were filmed against black backdrops, later adding stars by double exposure. Matte paintings were also used to fill in areas of the ship's interior, as well as exterior shots of the planetoid's surface. For scenes showing the exterior of the Nostromo, a 58-foot landing leg was constructed to give a sense of the ship's size. Scott was not convinced that it looked large enough, so he had his two young sons and the son of the film's cinematographer stand in for the actors, wearing smaller spacesuits to make the set pieces seem larger. The alien has been referred to as one of the most iconic movie monsters in film history, and its biomechanical appearance and sexual overtones have been frequently noted. A combination of hand puppets and an elaborate creature design helps sell its believability. Geiger made several conceptual paintings of the adult alien before setting on the final version. For most of the film, the alien was portrayed by Balaji Budeo. A latex costume was made to fit Budeo's slender 6-foot 10-inch frame. Geiger incorporated pieces of vertebrae from snakes and cooling tubes from a Rolls-Royce to give it a biomechanical look. Modifications were made to incorporate the moving parts that would animate the jaw and inner mouth. The final result is an organic, nightmarish creature. When Scott went about filming the alien's birth, he kept the actors in the dark about the gruesome nature of the event in order to capture their authentic reactions. His decision pays off as the initial cut made it into the final film. The movie takes place almost entirely on an isolated mining ship in space. To pull this off, the production company built a huge elaborate set that made the cast feel like they were confined to the ship. With hardly any natural light in space, the movie relies on the ship's backlit panels and vents. At one point, a flamethrower is the sole light source, bouncing beautiful orange light down a dark corridor. Throughout the movie, characters are beautifully framed around the ship's elaborate structure. Post-production took roughly 20 weeks and was edited by Terry Rawlings. Rawlings said, "I think the way we did get it right was by keeping it slow, which is completely different from what they do today." The movie is full of wide shots with long edits, allowing a lot of conversational dialogue to happen before the camera cuts away. I really enjoyed the simplicity of the final scene, as it cuts to a calm close-up before it fades to black. Alien's musical score was composed by Jerry Goldsmith. The film's opening scene sets up a romantic tone which goes on to build suspense throughout the film. Scott praised Goldsmith's score as full of dark beauty. During pivotal moments, the score helps drive the movie along. The sound design is strategically quiet for most of the film, relying on the white noise of the ship along with movements of people within the scene to fill the desolate atmosphere. This is most notable during the end scene, where Ripley's heavy breathing, movement around the ship, and a clicking sound from a flashing light help create the feeling that you're actually in the room with her. In 2002, Alien was deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress. In 2008, it was ranked by the American Film Institute as the 7th best film in the science fiction genre and as the 33rd greatest film of all time by Empire. The success of Alien spawned a media franchise of films, novels, comic books, video games, and toys. It also launched Weaver's acting career. The story of Ripley's encounter with the alien creature became the thematic and narrative core of the 3 sequels that followed. The expanded universe includes a creature crossover with the Predator franchise and a prequel series directed by Ridley Scott. 4 decades later, Alien holds up surprisingly well. Accompanied by its hotly romantic score, its elaborate set design, and creative creature effects, Alien is placed in a distinct category of filmmaking that relied heavier on sound design and in-camera effects to thrill audiences. The movie does have a slow and steady pace, and I can see where today's moviegoers might be bored with its long shots and dedication to convey the scale of its large space environments. The decision to keep the creature hidden for most of the movie allows your imagination to wander to darker and scarier places. Ridley Scott's Alien solidifies the xenomorph as a frightening, iconic piece of film history. I recommend this movie to anyone interested in the sci-fi horror genre. Alien is a must-see modern classic. For these reasons, I'm giving Alien an A. As always, thank you for participating, and please stay tuned for more sci-fi movie reviews. Until then, like, comment, and subscribe, because this message may be the only one you hear from space.